We're going to read Alexander, Who's Not, Do You Hear Me? I Mean It, Going to Move by Judith Vorst. Judith Vorst is the author. She writes the words. It says illustrated by Robin Price Glasser. Robin Price Glasser is the illustrator that draws the pictures. Awesome. Okay, let's read. He looks very stubborn and upset. So let's see what is going on with Alexander today. They can't make me pack my baseball mitt or my I Love Dinosaurs sweatshirt or my cowboy boots. They can't make me pack my ice skates, my jeans with 8 zippers, my compass, my radio, or my stuffed pig. My dad is packing. My mom is packing. My brothers Nick and Anthony are packing. I'm not packing. I am not going to move. He looks very serious about that. My dad says we have to move to where his new job is. That job is 1,000 miles away. My mom says we have to move to where our new house is. That house is 1,000 miles away. Right next door to the new house, there's a boy who is Anthony's age. Down the street, there's a boy that's the same age as Nick. There's no one next door or down the street, or maybe for 1,000 miles, who is my age. I think Alexander is worried he's not going to have any friends to play with in his new house. He says, I'm not, do you hear me? I mean it, going to move. He does not look very happy so far. I'll never have a best friend like Paul again. I'll never have a great sitter like Rachel again. I'll never have my soccer team or my carpool again. I'll never have kids who know me except my brothers. And sometimes they don't want to know me. I'm not packing. I'm not going to move. Nick says I'm a fool and should get a brain transplant. Anthony says I'm being immature. My mom and my dad say that after a while, I'll get used to living 1,000 miles from everything. Never. Not ever. No way. N-O. I maybe could stay here and live with Mr. and Mrs. Oberdorfer. They always give great treats on Halloween. I maybe could stay here and live by myself in maybe a tree house, or maybe a tent, or maybe a cave. What do you think? Do you think his parents are going to let him stay and live by himself or with the neighbors? Nick says I could live in the zoo with all the other animals. Anthony says I'm being immature. My dad says I should take a last look at all my special places. I'm taking a look, but it won't be my last. I looked at the Rooney's roof, which I once climbed out on, but then I couldn't climb back in until the fire department came and helped me. I looked at Pearson's drugstore, where they once said my mom had to pay them $80 when I threw a ball in the air that I almost caught. Oops. Looks like he smashed a window, but that's still a memory for him. I looked a lot next to Albert's house, where I once and for all learned to tell which was poison ivy. I looked at my school, where even Miss Noop, the teacher I once spilled the goldfish bowl on, said she'd miss me. I looked at my special places where a lot of different things happened. Not just different bad, but different good. Like winning that sack race, like finding that flashlight, like spitting farther than Jack 3 times in a row. So he has a lot of memories in this place, and I think he's worried he's going to feel like he's really going to miss a lot of the friends that he's made and the experiences that he's had. So I wonder what's going to happen next. Like selling so much lemonade that my dad said I would probably have to pay taxes. My dad was just making jokes about paying taxes. I wish he was making jokes about having to move. I'm not. Do you hear me? No, I mean it. Going to move. Nick says I am acting like a puke face. Ew. Anthony says I'm being immature. My mom says to say a last goodbye to all my special people. I'm saying goodbye, but it won't be my last. I said goodbye to my friends, especially Paul, who is almost like having another brother, except he doesn't say puke face or immature. I said goodbye to my neighbors, especially Swoozy, who's almost like having a dog, except she's the bald one's dog instead of mine. I said goodbye to Rachel, who taught me to stand on my head and whistle with 2 fingers, but she says don't try to do both at the same time. I said goodbye to Seymour the cleaners, who, even if it's gum wrappers or an old tooth, always saves me the stuff I leave in my pockets. I said a lot of goodbyes to a lot of people and got a lot of hugs and kisses, even hugs and kisses to last for a person's whole life. I said a lot of goodbyes, except I'm saying right here, I'm not going to move. What do you think? Do you have a prediction about what's going to happen? Do you think he's going to move? We're going to find out. When the movers come to put my bedroom furniture on their truck, maybe I'll barricade my bedroom door. When my dad wants me to tie my bicycle to the roof rack on top of the station wagon, maybe I'll lock up my bike and bury the key. When my mom says finish packing up, it's time for us to get going, maybe she'll look around and she won't see me. I know places to hide where they'd never find me. Like behind the racks of clothes at Seymour's the Cleaners. Like underneath the piano in Eddie's basement. Like inside the pickle barrel at Friendly's Market. Or maybe I could hide in the weeds in the lot next to Albert's house, now that I know how to tell which is poison ivy. I'd rather have poison ivy than have to move. My mom says it might take a while, but we'll find a great sitter. She says it might take a while, but we'll find a cleaners who even saves gum wrappers and old teeth. She also says that sometimes when a person moves away, his mother might let him call his best friend long distance. I already know the telephone number by heart. Paul gave me a baseball cap. Rachel gave me a backpack that glows in the dark. Mr. and Mrs. Oberdorfer gave us treats to eat for 1,000 miles. Nick says if I'm lonesome in my new room all by myself, he might let me sleep with him for a little while. Another says that Anthony says that Nick is being mature. So he's trying to say goodbye to everyone, even though he says he's not going to move. So let's see what's going to happen. My dad is packing. My mom is packing. My brothers, Nick and Anthony, are packing. I don't like it, but I'm packing too. They better not try to move anymore when we get where we're going to. Because this is the last time I'll do it. The next time, they won't make me do it. Never. Not ever. No way. N-O. I'm not, do you hear me? I mean it, going to move. So, did you predict correctly? Did you predict that he was going to move to this house? Looks like he ended up moving anyway. Do you think he's going to end up making some friends at his new house? I think so too. I think he's going to make new friends and new memories at his new house. And maybe next time he won't be so mad about having to move now that he knows it was just okay. It was not so as bad as he thought. All right, I really like this book. Maybe in your homework journal, you can add in an entry talking about what you think is going to happen next for Alexander. Now that he's moved to his new house, what do you think would happen if there was another page in this book? Write down one sentence and draw a picture about what you think would happen next for Alexander.